Hey everybody, it's me, Mr. D, Mr. D Classroom. Um, Today I want to talk to you guys about these different processes, and again, um, I can't say it any more that people really need to start understanding who they are and addressing this government with their own letters and with their own insight with this stuff because. Well, I digress. I want to say this. I've heard people say that you can't cross public and private. And you said they don't do it and you shouldn't do it. But the more I investigate, the more I get into this, all the different things that I do with the government, you come to realize that there is no private. It's all public. Everything you do is public. If you're inside your house, that's supposed to be private, unless you bring the public into your privacy through your telephone, your television, or things like that. But the moment you walk out your front door, you are in the public. Everything that happens there is the public. You know, I look at you're driving down the street, and let's say you did all the processes that you need to do to be sovereign. You've authenticated your birth certificate. You've claimed your minor estate. You've done all these different things, and now you think that you're sovereign and you're out of the public and you're in the private. Well, the moment you walk into a grocery store and you see an item that you want to purchase, and you pull out a dollar bill, you've taken yourself right back into the public. If you use a credit card, that's in the public. You're right back in the public. You make a purchase, you use their currency, their electrical currency, and you also use your dollar bills. You use their hard currency, their cash. They have a patent on all those things. If you buy something and say you're in Walmart and you buy something in Walmart, there's a serial number on it. There's a model number. Whoever they bought that from had to get a license in order to create that product to put into that store for you to purchase. You're in the public when you do that. So the private is when, even if you look at our Second Amendment, you have the right to carry a gun. Now, you buy a pistol. First of all, you have to apply to buy a pistol, unless you bought some heaters like I did in the old days, where you used to go on the street and get you a couple of them. But still, they have serial numbers on them. There's a maker, Smith and Wesson. You buy one of those, you're still in the public. That's why they feel they can regulate them. And they change the names. The problem that you have with this is that you think because you file paperwork, you're free. But you go out and you buy a gun, you buy a firearm that's called a firearm. They changed the name from gun to firearm. So they own that name, firearm. So if they say, I caught you with a firearm, you say yes, they can take you to jail. An unlicensed firearm, you don't have a license for it. So you're in the public no matter what you do. I look at, you can just look outside. And if you're walking down the street, everything you see and on that street is in the public. Almost everything that you touch or deal with has a license attached to it. And in order for you to do business, you have to follow certain rules, regulations, and codes in order to stay, in common with these products that you want to purchase. So you cannot just say that, I'm going to file this paperwork and be free, because it just does not happen. And what I suggest is that you learn how to play this game. And it's a game that they own, they created. Everything in this world, they have created. Because if there's a license behind it, you are stuck behind it. There's nothing you can do. So how do you make yourself truly free? As opposed to following what they say, their rules, their regulations, and their codes. They say, if you want to be free, file this, file that, file this other thing. And once you do all that and they see that you're understanding how to be free, they can do an amendment and change the rules, which they do all the time. And I notice when I use the US codes. So how do you stay free? You have to come up with your own way. You understand the concepts. You look at what's really going on. You look at the United States versus America. You look at a democracy, which is corporate, versus a republic, which is in the private. We pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands. But yet we live under a democracy. And people, you listen to these shows all day long and say, and listen to what they talk about. We have to defend our democracy. And you let it go right over your head and you don't realize that you've just been brainwashed. And a democracy is the worst thing you can have because all democracies end up as socialism, communism. You know, it starts off as, first of all, it's mob rule. And that's what a democracy is. Demos is mob, ocracy means to rule. So the mob rules. And it goes from that, if that's a mobocracy, and then you go to an oligarchy, and then you go to a monarchy, and then you go to a dictatorship. And what happened? That is the process of a democracy. At one time, China was a democracy. Look at them now. I mean, China was a republic. Look at them now. That's why it's called the Republic of China. You know, look at Russia. Russia was a republic. The USSR, you know, the Unified States, Social State of Russia, something along those lines. And now they're a democracy. I mean, they're a dictatorship. So in order to move forward with this, you can't get yourself caught up in the spider web of constantly doing different paperwork and finding all these processes to be free, because that's not how you become free. Most of the time, if you were married to someone who beat you all the time, male or female, I mean, you can get your ass whooped by a woman too, man. So, you know, so male or female, if you stay in that relationship and you try to make that person change, they're not changing. They are what they are. So what are your options? Understand who they are, where they are, and deal with it, or, you know, stay in a relationship and deal with it, or what do? You walk away. So, you know, I'm ranting right now because I'm getting a lot of calls. People want to make sure they don't cross public and private, which, you know, it's almost impossible to do in this day and age because everything you do is in the public. Because like I said, the moment you pull out a dollar bill, the moment you use your credit card, the moment you drive your car, all those things were made by somebody else. You got a license with the corporation called the United States, and that puts you in the public. You know, the moment you drive down a road, a street, you know, and the word drive is a public term. So if let's say you did all your processes and you don't have a driver's license on your, you don't have a plate on your car because now you realize you don't need one because you've changed your status. So you tell me you don't put a plate on your car and drive down one of these public roads and watch what happens. You'll get pulled over. And if you say the wrong thing, you'll still get arrested. You know, so, and I know a lot of guys that have, you know, call themselves sovereign and, you know, but they get lippy with certain people and next thing you know, they're locked up. And it's not about, you know, this is not, like I said, this is not it's not a destination. This is a journey because you're never gonna reach perfection when it comes to this type of thing. The perfection will come in your mind. And when you understand who you are and where you are and what you're dealing with, that's when you reach that level. But you know, I'm just saying this because I'm getting a lot of people that they're still thinking that they could put pen to paper and be free, and it's not that way. You know, if all of us started to understand the system and find a way to be free, they'll change it. And that's what they do all the time because that's the only way they can stay in control. And they're not going to give up their control without a fight because you wouldn't if you were in their position. So anyway, I'm not going to continue on, but I just want to say, guys, if you want to talk to me about, you know, these processes and what to do, I will always tell you the best thing you can do is to look around the internet, listen to people you want to listen to. And I really suggest that you write a letter to these people, because but they always say, it's like a prime example. They'll tell you, if you want to put something on the record, you have to put it in the public. So you have to publish it in a newspaper or try to get something filed that they don't want you to file. Because they file, and I know that because I've put quite a few things into the court, and they won't record it for me. So they're telling you how to be free, but they're setting up these barriers, and they're doing this on purpose. And that's why you really need to look at what you're dealing with, because they don't want you to be free. And regardless of what paperwork you file, you're not going to be free. And I don't, you're not going to be free in their standards. You have to be free in your own mind. And it's like, I have people ask me about trust. If you think about a trust, they created trust. The reason that we have resets in this country is because we created an artificial world with artificial money that eventually runs out, that we have to reset everything to start over. And if you were to live out in the woods, out in the forest, there is no resetting there, because you're living by nature. Nature just flows. There's never a reset with nature. It's just a new beginning each day. Each time the sun comes up, you have a new day. And then the sun always comes up. But if you're dealing in this artificial world that we're dealing in, you're going to constantly chase your tail. And that's what everybody does. And I know, because I hear it over and over. And, if you watch my channel, I totally believe that you have to get in a position where you see who you really are. You understand who you are, and take the knowledge that you get from different people and chew on it, sleep on it, and put it together in a presentation and send it out to these people and say, this is who I am. And there's the notice the agent, there's notice the principal, notice principals, notice the agent. You write yourself a letter. Go get that. There's a video Thyself has out with affidavit of sovereignty. And just go through that letter, make it your own, and send that. Because the moment you send that out to, like I did, the FBI, the CIA, the Treasury Department, the Department of Education, the governor, my mayor, I sent it to everybody. That's the public record. And all you got to do is make sure you mail it a certain way, registered mail, keep all your receipts. You just put that in the public. And they can look it up, they can find it. But a lot of times, it's you standing on your square, understanding who you are, trusting and believing in yourself. And that's what I do. So anyway, guys, this is Mr. D, Mr. D's Classroom. Remember, happiness is a choice, choose to be happy, and you are whatever comes after I am. I'll talk to you soon.